Q. This is WBZ TV channel for Boston, and it is time now for the Shawmut Bank Nightly Newsteller for this Friday, August 6th, 1948. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mark McDonald, and there's what's happening.
For more information.
A protest group of 300 Charlestown and Chelsea residents representing 1,500 persons will face eviction by the construction of the Mystic River toll bridge was successful in England. A 30-day reprieve yesterday after they staged an all-day mass picketing of the governor's office at the State House. The milling crowd was notified by the stay of eviction after waiting 5 hours in vain to see Governor Bradford. Harold E. Stevens, legislative counsel for Governor Bradford, told the governor that, which included the mothers and young children, and that Mystic River Bridge of 40 would grant the stay of evictions until October the 1st. Earlier in the day, Governor Bradford sent a letter of the F40 asking for a delay so as not to pose a hardship on the families whose homes are to be taken. FPMA Brest, chairman of the F40D, replied in a letter to Governor Bradford that the raising of the dwellings would be deferred if immediate steps were taken to provide housing for the families affected. Interest cost on the $27 million bridge would be lost throughout the delay was estimated at $2,100 a day. One official in the governor's office estimated that the whole project would suffer a loss as much as $20,000 a day throughout the delay. In Berlin, food riots and hunger demonstrations have broken out throughout the Russian occupation zone. British and French licensed newspapers reported last night. Guards have been assigned to food trains moving throughout the Russian zone as a safeguard against mob attacks, the newspaper reported. The British licensed Die Welt asserted that riots had occurred in Saxony, Anhalt, Mecklenburg, and Thuringia. The French licensed courier said police at Halle in Saxony and in a south-central part of the Soviet zone had been ordered to seal off railroad yards while food trains were being loaded for movement to Berlin. In Washington, the Federal Communications Commission said yesterday it proposes a crackdown on the radio cash prices, in which appear to involve a lottery order to depend upon a lot of chances. The action in commission said in a statement is prompted by the growing number of money programs on the radio. The announcement came in attention to the sections of the Communications Act which said, in Washington, the Republican and anti-inflation bill announced by President Truman as consistent as a feeble compromise was jammed at the House yesterday, 264 to 97, and seated and headed toward an uncertain fate in the Senate. The measure, which omits Mr. Truman's proposal for revived price control, some wage controls, ration and allocation at 40s, and stronger rent controls would be restrict consumer and bank credit and increase the gold revenue reserve requirements of Federal Reserve banks. Democrats denounced the gold reserve future as a powder keg, but failed to agree on whether it would provide inflationary. They supported Mr. Truman and assertion in a statement they issued at the press conference that the bill would not stop inflation. As soon as the measure reached the Senate, Senator Charles W. Tobey, representative New Hampshire chairman of the Senate Banking Committee, revealed that he will try today to amend it by giving the president and standby authority to reimpose price control, rationing, and allocation of scarce materials under the Tobey. In Malden, the Department of Public Welfare yesterday demanded that 27 small children now at the city infirmary because of the housing shortage be placed in foster homes or charitable institutions. The children, who are about 3 years of age, belong to 12 families temporarily housed there, one room to a family after being evicted. Some have been there as long as 7 or 8 months. Directors of the Massachusetts Restaurant Association voted yesterday to form a cooperative association to buy and operate a dairy for its members, which may participate in an attempt to break the rising price of milk and other foods, it was announced. Paul M. Hebert, president of the association, said a cooperative milk concerns are a success in California and New Jersey, where prices to be substantially reduced to the public. As a new group in New York, he said, is making progress with a new cooperative. The local group is looking for a theory to buy. Attorney James C. Gahan Jr., counsel for the association, has been instructed to draw up the necessary cooperative structure.
Listen, I don't blame you for going for it. I'm sorry to... In
Washington, Soviet spies are working right now in Washington, helping and obtain shipments of an atomic bomb material in Russia in 1943, and a mystery witness will break their activities wide open next week. In House Un-American Activities Committee leaders said yesterday the rapid series of announcements culminating this evening with the introduction of a mysterious witness into the House. Espionage investigation overshadowed a heroin witch.
You spinning?
Governor Bradford yesterday announced the personnel appointed by the president to serve on the 40 local draft boards, which are expected to open by August 15. Preparation for registering an estimated 280,540 young men between ages 18 and 25. Registration for the draft will be from August 3rd to September 18th. 5 board members and an appeal agent were appointed to each board by the president, following the recommendation of those appointed by Governor Bradford.
This one is, what are you doing? And that sound means time's right.
Colonel Chester A. Furbush, in a simultaneous announcement, stated that the following the first organization meeting of each local board, which was held at once, and the local board immediately will start formulating plans for registration of all men between 18 and 25. The only exemptions from registration are those on active duty and military service. All appointees to the boards yesterday were sent preliminary instructions for beginning the draft. Washington. Republican differences over House and legislation exploded on the Senate floor last night as Senator Toby, Republican of New Hampshire, shouted that little oligarchy of GOP House leaders trying to dictate what Congress can do. He identified them as a House Speaker Mountain of Massachusetts, Majority Leader Halleck of Indiana, and Chairman Walcott of Michigan on the House Banking Committee. The Senate already agreed to vote at noon tomorrow, which is noon today, on a slightly modified version of the Taft L. under Wagner housing bill containing public housing and slum clearance provisions. It was reported at yesterday by a 7-5 vote from the Senate Banking Committee. State police, armed with a warrant, were searching last night for the alleged top man in Rivers payoff racket who had suddenly left the city. 2 more men also face warrants on as John Doe warrants as Assistant Attorney General George F. Fingold and Lieutenant Detectives Andrew Trotten and Gerald F. McCarthy prepare evidence in the probe of River records for submission in the grand jury next Monday. The trio being sought will probably be in the last person arrested in a 4-week investigation before indictments are sought from the Suffolk County Grand Jury, the sweeping but secret sheriff, where the character was coming in inquiry by. That body was indicated yesterday when Fingold visited the office of the clerk of Suffolk County Superior Court and obtained a pad of 50 forms for summoning witnesses. A 28-year-old staff-and lawyer who received his Master of Law degree from Harvard last June was named yesterday by Governor Bradford as one of the 3 commissioners to rectify the general laws of the Massachusetts. Charles F. Anderson, a 1027 Tremont Street in Roxbury, veteran of the Marine Corps and recipient of the highest average mark for the postgraduate course at Harvard last year, is one of the youngest lawyers to ever be named to such a prominent position in the State House. In Milton, at 3 a.m., over 100 members of the posse were searching for the young boy of 4 years old in the rain of a mile square area of Great Blue Hill for a 4.5-year-old Dorchester boy lost in a densely wooded area at 4:30 p.m. yesterday, which is the search began. Francis Ridey, son of Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Ridey of 78 Torrey Street in Dorchester, wandered off Summer Path about a quarter of a mile from the summit of Great Blue Hill, one of the highest in the Blue Hills Reservation. Francis and another child about 6 years old had left his parents and a group of neighbors on Summer Path as they started down after spending the afternoon picking blueberries. The 2 children ran ahead of the group to get a drink of water at the fountain at the lower end of Summer Path. After they reached the fountain, the day started up again at some point along the path. Francis lagged behind his companion.
Morning, people. We're vampires up the Lord.
Then we tried this new
Bolton, at Charlestown, youth once befriended by Reverend Raymond A. Heron, suffering and bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of Massachusetts, allegedly murdered a 17-year-old
We love mornings.
chore boy and fired a wild shot at the bishop during the $20 robbery at the prelate's home here yesterday. The youth, Frederick S. Pike of Main Street, age 19, from Charleston, who fled from the scene in the bishop's car was captured 2 hours later as he sped through Providence. Police in the city fired 2 shots during a mile-long 65-mile-an-hour chase before forcing Pike to halt. Questions at Providence Police Headquarters. Pike, according to Police Chief Charles A. Higgins and Captain Paul King, admitted shooting Paul Zaka, 17, and the robbery of Bishop Heron's Walden automobile. Providence Police said Pike had a shotgun, 2 revolvers, 2 hunting knives, and much ammunition in the car when he was captured. At midnight, he was arraigned in a special court session at Providence, waived extradition, and was turned over to Massachusetts police, who returned him to Clinton rape murder charges. On an arraignment, Massachusetts State Police said Pike had been paroled in January after serving a sentence at the Concord Reformatory for a theft in July 1946 when Bishop Heron's home. Zaka, eldest of 7 children of Mr. and Mrs. Metro Fane Zaka, 69 Dartmouth Street in Boston, had lived in Bishop Heron's home 7 years while completed his education in the Bolton schools.
The new shows of
Okay, in sports, tonight the Braves will be at Braves Field taking on the Chicago
the stars of
Cubs. Brent Big man for the Red Sox, while the Boston Red Sox will be at Comiskey Field tonight taking on the Chicago White Sox. Dan Gilhouse man for the Red Sox. So there was one game in the Major Leagues was New York Giants at Pittsburgh Park, 7-6. Okay, down to the weather now, Peter Wiggins. Thank you, Arch. Right now, our current conditions at 7 o'clock in Boston, Massachusetts at Logan Airport on this Friday, August 6, 1948. Temperature at 67 degrees with a dew point about 57. Humidity at 70%. Barometer turning about 78 degrees. Visibly 50 miles and a winds now downforce about 14. Condition clear skies. Okay, around the region, it is 67s all over the place from Bedford and in Lawrence and in Beverly, stretching into Fitchburg and Worcester, and stretching for Norwood and Taunton and Plymouth and New Bedford and Providence, Nantucket, and into Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket, and stretching into Nashua and Portsmouth, and stretching all the way into Portland and Augusta, Maine. 66 in Manchester, New Hampshire, 64 out in Concord, New Hampshire, 64 out in Bangor, Maine, 50 in Mount Washington, Paris, 68 out in Burlington and Montpelier, Vermont. Paris 72 is in Albany and New York City, and a trio 69 from Springfield down into Hartford and into New Haven. What about around the nation today? Cloud skies rain were reported over most of New England today, and cloud skies and scatter showers occurred over the upper Mississippi Valley and the northern Great Plains region during most of the day. Considerable cloudiness was reported by stations located in the northwestern states today, but partly cloudy wherever were the rural remainder of the country. Here. Okay. Boston vicinity forecast. Rain continuing tonight. Remain very cool. Clearing Saturday, becoming warmer in the afternoon. Northeast winds becoming 10 to 25 miles per hour Friday. And for Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, rain very cool Friday night. Saturday, clearing becoming warmer by afternoon. For Maine, rain continuing Friday night, cooling in the central and south portion Friday, and Friday night and Saturday, cooling becoming warmer in the south portion. For New Hampshire and Vermont, rain ending by late Friday night and Saturday fair and warmer. And for Eastport to Block Island, increase in northeast winds becoming 25 to 30 miles per hour Friday, with rainy weather, considerable fog development, and fair to poor visibly by afternoon. And Block Island and Cape Hatteras, fresh north to northwest winds Friday, fair weather and good visibility. Some of all craft warnings are displayed from Block Island to Delaware Breakwater. Okay, sunset 7:58 p.m. about 31 minutes. Moonset 9:20 p.m. Light automobile lamps at 8:28 p.m. First quarter in August 11th at 3:40 p.m. Full moon August 19th at 1:32 p.m. Last quarter in August 27th at 2:46 p.m. And new moon September 3rd at 7:21 a.m. And that is gonna be it for the WBZ Shawmut Bank Nightly Newsteller on this August 6th, 1949 on Friday. I'm Peter. Hope you have a good evening all. Have a good night. See you tomorrow. Good night.